Hey, good day, everybody. I'm Steve Farrell, a co-founder of Humanities Team. I am coming to you live from our studio here in Boulder, Colorado, and you can see on the screen my special guest today. Very excited about today's program. I'm going to give him a proper introduction in a moment, but hey, Adam, thanks for coming to us from Italy across the pond there.
It's great to be with you here again, Steve. I'm excited about our conversation today, and let's have some fun today.
Oh boy, that we will. Yeah, thanks for joining us. Adam is on an important trip he's in Italy right now. He was telling me, um, gosh, just right near Assisi. So 10 miles outside of Assisi. Do I have that right, Adam?
Yeah, I'm just in this area called Umbria, which is in the central Tuscan area, south of Florence, and I'm staying over in a great old ancient town called Cortona, one of those hilltop towns. So it's quite spectacular, as those of you who have been here and just enjoying the Tuscan sun. The fall is so beautiful here.
Boy, no kidding. Yeah, the land of Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo. Both, boy, that was the 15th and 16th century there. I'm sure there are landmarks everywhere, and their art, of course, is everywhere. So great to have you with us. I'm going to give Adam a proper introduction here in a moment. For people that are new to Humanities Team, we are a 501c3 nonprofit, and our focus is changing humanity's future through conscious community and transformational education. We'll talk more about that, but I mentioned that right at the start because there's a lot of hand-wringing, a lot of challenges out in the world, and we're focused on something very positive, something we can all do, living consciously. So Adam and I are going to have a wonderful conversation about that during the hour. So a shout out now to the Earthkeepers Summit and Earthkeepers Association, founded by Adam, to our Humanities Team friends all over the world, our Humanities Stream Plus friends who are here in the green room with Adam and I, and the Sign Network and John Raymer, and all of you out there that are part of the Sign Network. Big shout out to all of you. Thanks for being here. It's a live program, as you can see. So, and I have a display right here in the studio. So your questions and comments that are out on social media, most of them are being brought back to me. In fact, I've got a couple already here on the screen. And I'll be bringing those to Adam during the hour. So, hey, I invite you, as we're talking, if it tickles something in you, throw it at social media and it'll come back to me. I can bring it to Adam here during the hour. Okay, so now our theme here today is the explosive new Global Oneness Summit. And some of you may know this is our 13th year celebrating the Global Oneness Summit. And the theme this year is Birthing a New World. And Adam kindly took this on. He didn't know quite what he was getting into back in the spring when he said, hey, I'll be kind of the director and producer, and let's just elevate this thing to a whole new level, take it in a new direction. So that's what our theme is here today. We're going to be talking about that. So let me introduce Adam properly here. Adam Hall is an author, speaker, conscious entrepreneur, and founder of Earthkeeper Alliance and Genius Studio. Adam is a passionate conservationist whose work focuses on helping people and businesses grow in sustainable ways, both for themselves and the planet at large. Adam was an integral part of bringing this year's Festival of Consciousness, the 2022 Global Oneness Summit, to life. Today, he is joining me to share ideas and excitement for this year's summit, Birthing a New World, which is kicking off this coming Saturday, October 15th at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. That's 11:30 a.m. Eastern time, with our International Shout Out Love event. Again, thanks for joining me, Adam, and thanks for all the great work here this year, getting this Global Oneness Summit teed up to go into a whole new orbit up in outer space. So.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here with you, and it's been an extraordinary experience working with you, Steve, and Neil Donald, and everybody at Humanities Team who've been, really doing a Herculean job, if I do say, because I had no idea the magnitude of what was involved. But the point being is we really have come together. I think you probably would agree. We've really been able to, co-create a new vision, co-create a new way of moving forward and creating how we can engage in community on large digital platforms and digital experiences. So we'll no doubt get a chance to talk about it today, but I'm feeling really good about it, and I've just enjoyed very much working with everybody over there. So thank you, and thank everybody at Humanity's team for being part of this in my life.
Hey, we're grateful that you and Adam brought in Ken Foster, who also is terrific. And Ken Foster and Adam Hall have been working closely with us, doing a terrific job. And so the Global Oneness Summit, it starts this Saturday, the 15th of October, 8:30 a.m. Pacific. And we're going to put here on social media a link to the site so you can register for the summit. And this is a live event. And we're doing it, it's like a Horton Hears the Who moment, right? Except that instead of we're here, we know we're here. So love, something useful. Love, we're going to shout out love because the world can use more love. And that's our basis, actually, when we talk about conscious living, right? Unconditional love, that's our basis. So be sure to sign up for the summit. The 10-day Global Oneness Summit is free. You get a replay link after you sign up because you won't probably be able to be there for all 10 days for the entire summit. So we'll send you a link at the end of the day for free viewing for each of those 10 days. So be sure to check that out. Now, I thought where we might begin here today is with Adam's backstory, because if you don't know, in his introduction, I shared, about these important organizations he's founded. The Earthkeeper Alliance, the Genius Studio, he's an author of books, he does so many things. But he was a huge real estate developer before he came into this world of consciousness raising. And so Adam, if you could kind of tell us briefly the story, how did you go from, not a small scale real estate developer, a large scale, at least in my world, I'd call it a large scale real estate developer, to this raising of consciousness work that you're doing now?
Well, thank you for that, Steve. And it's I do get the question, my gosh, how could you be living in a successful world of entrepreneurship and all the accoutrements that come with that life? And I've lived a privileged life. I've been very, very blessed, thanks to my beautiful mother and father, who brought me into this beautiful space of living in California, going to school at Berkeley, but ultimately showing up in the world to make my mark, of course, right? And to build a family. And I have 3 beautiful daughters. And well, believe it or not, 6 granddaughters as of the other day. But the journey from the development end of the business, Steve, was driven primarily by an incessant need to really fulfill myself as an individual. And I found myself, not really knowing what was meaningful and purposeful for me, other than my children. That was it. Those were my number one things that I care deeply about. And ultimately that drove me to, working 50, 60-hour weeks. It was a lot of Tums in the morning, and it was tequila at night, and it was a hard driving existence. And I became really the proverbial earth conqueror. And hence that ultimately led to not feeling well or feeling fulfilled in life. And it led to a deeper inquiry. Because things were becoming very evident to me, and this was almost 20 years ago, Steve. They're becoming very evident that this was a life that was not going to end well. This was an experience that was not going to go well for me, even though I was at the pinnacle of my career in real estate. But ultimately, I had to choose again, and I began that journey, that proverbial journey of stepping onto a path, going on the vision quest, so to speak, as they'd say in the indigenous world, and really the seeking piece of the journey. So it's come a long ways, and it's been extraordinary. And I'm feeling very, very blessed to have stayed with it and really have found a deep mission and a deep presence of love and peace with others.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, boy, and Adam is not, this isn't couch work that he's doing. You probably get that already, but Earth Keepers Alliance and Evolutionary Leaders and the Genius Studio. He came out with a book recently, Divine Genius. He's got other books he's writing. He's not doing armchair, kind of light lifting stuff. He just moved over in a substantial way from substantial real estate development now to substantial consciousness raising and looking after our Earth, which of course there's huge challenges out there now. It's what we unfortunately have fouled our planet in many ways, and so this consciousness raising work, it's focusing on hey, let's steward this beautiful planet. What the heck are we doing, right? So in a way, it's like this first domino when we raise consciousness, because we couldn't possibly foul the Earth or contribute to climate change or start a war in the Ukraine or any of these things. We're one, right? So this is a part of ourselves. So we're going to take good care of ourselves, this whole world around us. Well, and of course, this is what the Global Oneness Summit is, birthing a new world. I mentioned, Adam, that you've taken it in new directions. There's a lot of exciting new stuff. Do you want to maybe talk a little bit about it? Because we're all excited about Blast Off on Saturday, which is just around the corner.
Absolutely. Well, I'm looking forward to being there with everybody Saturday morning at 8:30. Join us for Shout Out Love. Be part of the love revolution again, but in a new way. And that was the whole idea of, when we initially spoke with you and Timothy, and there were numerous ideas and things that were emerging for me around how do we come as community? How do we come as conscious community? How do we gather in a place that's what I would best say is a resonant field, where there's that synergy, there's that inspiration, where we are stimulated in body and mind and spirit and soul? How do we come together in a new way, in the frequency, in the vibration that we hold in oneness? And the invitation is to bring hundreds of thousands of people into this place, this container that we call the Global Oneness Summit. And in that journey, just kind of briefly, in that journey, Steve, I recognized a few things, both through some study and research, also looking at the proliferation of online digital platforms, what's happening in the digital world, seeing what John has done up at in his world, and how he's linked, John Raymer's linked us all in together. What can we really do to actually enliven the space? And the answer was a few fold. One is really experience. How are we creating an experiential event? And one of the things that we've hit upon this year, I think quite well, and I'm inviting everybody to really tune into this, because we have the idea of a traditional summit where we have great thinkers, scientists, visionary, transformational leaders in business and healers and all kinds of incredible people. But we've combined it. We've combined this with celebration, where the joy of it, the music of it, the Jonathan Goldman, the master of vibrational sound, bringing in this Deva Premal in Mitten, bringing these extraordinary folks into this space, the Corin brothers. So we've combined the traditional ideas of summits. Traditional ideas is how we're thinking linearly and more analytical and in the curiosity, to just relaxing into the magnificence of being alive together, to coming into the oneness and the frequency. So this little piece, while we're experimenting and coming through this next phase of what the Global Oneness Summit will be going forward, we're finding there's a magic that's been released. And that magic is becoming alive. It's coming alive in each of you. So come and join us. Find out for yourself what this means. Find out how this can enliven you in your experience. And I don't guarantee a lot of things, but I can say this for sure. It's rich, it's full, it offers something for every single person. And the beauty this year is we've not only expanded the platform, we've invited new people. We have a whole set of new people. So happy to explore more of that, but hopefully that'll get us kicked off here for today.
Yeah, no kidding. So, yeah, and check out, there are over 100, so we can't just start rat-a-tat-tat going down through all the speakers. We'd bore you. But Stephen Covey's son, M.F. Covey, Ken Honda, and these entertainers, award-winning entertainers that Adam just mentioned. So there are many new people that are coming into the summit, giving it an incredible lift. Wow is all I can say. We're putting a few just as of these programs into our YouTube, Humanities Team YouTube, just to give you a taste of what's coming. Adam's session with Lynn Twist, oh my God. The session with Deepak Chopra, which gets into this whole earth and how we create a sustainable, flourishing earth. These are incredible. So join us and you'll have fun. In today's world, the big thing going on, coming out of COVID and just these last years, is this deep reflection. Of it's kind of like Adam's story. And my story, you may know, is quite similar. I was a Silicon Valley guy also, and it was like, hey, are we gonna just keep sort of building, top line and bottom line growth here, or are we going to do something important while the planet's going through this major, pivoting to this major whole new way of living on the earth? And thank God I pivoted back in the 90s and that Adam did. Boy, you want to find out what the deliciousness of life is, live consciously. This is true prosperity, in its fullness. Delicious living, I can't put even words that are sufficient around this, but I can tell you that whole American dream thing, this is like, that pales, that just pales in comparison to this. So join us for the 10 days of the Global Oneness Summit. Go to, Adam, what site can people go to follow your work and read about your books and things?
Well, you can drop over to adamhall.solutions, adamhall.solutions. You can explore all the things I've got going on and all the things I'm offering there. So feel free to take your choice, help yourself to all the excitement and the work that I'm doing. And one of the things I love most, Steve, about the work that I'm doing, well, let's say in the living conscious part of it, is all those beautiful hearts and soul that reach out and they say hello and they share a message and they share their love and they're deeply curious. So I invite that. If you have any questions or thoughts, feel free to ask them today in their social media chat room. But of course, love to have you connect on the website. Send me a note there and we'll continue this conversation together. But yeah, thanks so much, Steve.
Yeah, you bet. So as we jump in, let me just share then a couple of ways then to follow Adam. We're going to come back to his website, but also, so on Humanity Stream Plus, so this is this revolutionary conscious streaming platform. It's a true streaming platform, which means Apple TV and Roku and all the devices, little devices, big devices. You want to watch transformational education or participate in live events or viewing parties or anything. You pick your device, you pick the room in the house or on the porch or the plane that you want to come in from, and boom, you're there. That's what Humanity Stream Plus is. Adam has, was just checking this morning, so he has 11 programs right now on Humanity Stream Plus. And then the Global Oneness Summit, there are 64 programs right now on the Humanity Stream Plus platform. Invite you to check that out. As a nonprofit, we're the one nonprofit in transformational education. The other, there's what we call the big four that are all for-profits. Our focus is let's get price down and let's get this platform into every home in every major language all over the world. Because when we talk about changing humanity's future, which sounds like a big lift, and it is, you'd ask, well, how the heck are we going to do that? We say by 2040 as well, in 18 years. And this platform, where we get it into every home, you've got Adam coming in here with 11 of his own programs, 64 Global Oneness Summit programs. Neil Donald Walsch has 74 programs right now on the Humanity Stream Plus platform. So check it out. There are lots of free programs that you're going to find as well, unlocked programs on the first module of many of these masterclasses on the site. So be sure to check that out. And then also on Adam's site that he just referenced, he has one or more free programs too. So invite you to check that out. Do you want to just share that website one more time, Adam?
Yeah, absolutely. AdamHall.solutions. And please check it out. We have some free programs, some free masterclass programs there. I won't get off into that today, but they're all yours. And I'll say I just put a new one on there, and it's about rewriting your old story and really stepping into the power of your new story to really navigate these kind of coming tricky times that we're in. And I offer a few ideas and ways to do that and make that happen really right away.
Fantastic. Well, yeah, Adam is, like I say, is really contributing mightily, and his website's a great resource. Check it out. He's out front here. This program that we're doing, it's really an invitation to this, what I'll call level playing field, where we're raising consciousness together, where we're our inner, where we've given this deep thought to our lives, and we're saying, I think I want more meaning. I think I want more purpose. And we do some homework. We do some research into kind of how life works. There's an abundance of research right now, even in quantum physics, if you follow what Nassim Haramein is doing with this whole unified field theory, and others, Lynn McTaggart, Bruce Lipton, I won't try and name them all, but there's a great deal of research right now. Even, the Nobel Prize last week, you might have caught, in physics, it was for entanglement. Now, entanglement is our world of where we're talking about lifting consciousness. Entanglement is saying everything is actually deeply interconnected, that our eyes actually deceive us. There's an entangled reality. My God, Dean Radin, who's a huge leader in the transformational education space, has written books and done seminars, and he should have been there with this Nobel Prize as we're awarding a prize for research on an important work in physics, because that's what he does, is it's all entanglement. So, but we've got to dive in, do our own research, and when which is what I did, it's what Adam did, it's why I said, okay, I'm done here in Silicon Valley, time to go do what I came here for, which is this work in Humanities team that I've been doing now for 18 years with just wonderful partners and colleagues all over the world. I'll name some of them before the program's out. Yeah, that's what it's about, is all just ourselves kind of going within, and getting in touch with what is our calling, what is our station in life here? Because with all of what's going on in the outer world, we can see where many of us, I'd say most of us, maybe all of us, are being called to a new station in life where we can be part of positive change, and the interior work is what is so essential when we talk about raising consciousness. Einstein himself said we've got to come, at another level of consciousness if we're going to find the solutions, and that's interior work. So that's what the Global Oneness Summit's about. That's what all of Adam's work is about. That's what Humanities team is about. And, like I say, one big level playing field, boy, where we all go to our own station in life. We're standing there together, holding hands, hearts connected, and we're living consciously. Voila, Bruce Lipton likes to talk about the heaven on earth. Well, guess what? We're there. That's how we create it, where we're living that way together. So Adam, let me just go down deeper into this, this whole notion of consciousness and raising consciousness. do you want to just talk about that a little bit? And then we're going to go, there's some clips of Adam here that we're going to go to from the Global Oneness Summit, but we'll kind of, Adam can talk about this and then we'll go to the clips.
Well, absolutely. And, the kind of the mother of all around conscious evolution, of course, is Barbara Marx Hubbard, amongst others. But when I think of that as part of the journey and really fundamental to my teachings and my work and how I live my life today, the idea is how are we cultivating a co-created life? In other words, I often was feeling like life was happening to me. That am I simply living a karmic fated existence, or is there something more here? And so what I'm inviting people to do, and this is exactly what we're doing at the Global Oneness Summit, and to your point earlier of our inner work and the power of our own inner evolution, but also we're at a precipice, a place where we have the opportunity to really grow corn with where we are and where we're going. In other words, how do we actually implement some of the conscious fields that were now available to us, but also how do we work together in a community way, in a way that's really co-creative? So what I found, in just over the years and thinking about Barbara often and thinking about our collective work in conscious evolution, it seemingly was at a point in time very alone and individualistic. It's not about that anymore. It's very much about doing the inner work, but it's also about the engaging with others. How are we sharing our stories? How are we creating new ideas and thoughts and synergies? So the whole theme around the Global Oneness Summit, at least underneath it, is coming to alive with that interpersonal work, and really, as the indigenous would say, as the shamans would say, growing corn with it. Because if we're not going to grow corn with it, folks, then we're just sitting here twiddling our thumbs. So we're not doing that. So we get to all come together and expand consciousness together. And of course, as the late beloved Thich Nhat Hanh said, the next Buddha will come from the Sangha. In other words, the next Buddha will come from the community. And this is what's alive. When you come to this Global Oneness Summit, I hope you see, I hope you feel, I hope you take it on as your own, the Sangha of the Global Oneness, the oneness of where we come together. And that's very much alive in the spirit here today and very much alive in the summit. So look forward to rolling that all out with all of you.
Yes, beautiful. And Barbara Marx Hubbard's Awaken the Species and other programs are also on the Humanity Stream Plus platform. Boy, a dear friend and collaborator, and a pioneer in this work. And boy, so part of what consciousness, raising consciousness is too, is the lifting of the veil, where we understand it's not like we don't have to talk about Barbara in the past tense. She's right here, right now, doing work from the other side. Just as Wayne Dyer is and others, we understand, this isn't woo-woo. This is real. It's just us paying attention, to even what science is saying, instead of just walking around with these old notions of the past that don't make any sense. So one thing too I want to bring in, which you can infer from what Adam is sharing and I'm sharing, is, I often have people when I'm talking to them just about this journey that'll say, I have done some work here. I've given some time. But I kind of keep falling back into, my full-time job or full-time life, which is more the kind of left brain thing. And there's this sense he'll say, is there too much sacrifice? Are there things that, how much am I going to give up, Steve? If I journey over there more on a full-time basis. And this is the big myth, this notion of giving up. My God, there's just no giving up. There's no, we come into alignment with who we really are and why we're born into the world. And this is why I was using deliciousness and all of these things. Now, you know, you don't need to take my word for it. Things like the Global Oneness Summit, these free programs, Humanities Team has them, Adam Hall has them on his site. Go through some of the free programs. Boy, you'll see, you know, there is no giving up. That's just a total myth. So we're going to go to a video clip here of Adam from the Global Oneness Summit. Before we do, one of the people that is shouting out is John Raymer, who's come back in. He says, thank you, Adam and Steve. And John Raymer, if you go to sign.network, you'll see the great organization he has, the great work he's doing with his wife, Summer. They're working with these incredible consciousness-raising organizations all over the planet. And they live up in the Northwest, just outside of Seattle. I think they're in New York City right now, visiting some family and friends. So, hey, big shout out to you guys, John Raymer and his wife Summer, and thank you all for the just incredible work you're doing, because they're huge contributors to this consciousness-raising work. Okay, we're going to go over now to a clip here. It's how to accelerate trust in business. Okay, so that's the first clip. We're going to go look at how Adam talking about how to accelerate trust in business. Here we go, and then Adam and I'll come back and talk about it.
I'm not feeling excellence is even the word anymore. There's an emergent term, and what I was feeling is, you know, in Bhutan they have the gross domestic happiness, and perhaps the new definition of excellence is a leader that has gross, you know, company happiness. And it's certainly, if you have 56 or you have 60, you're failing miserably. And you know, and so I like these other metrics. If our leaders and our people that are running companies can be really radically honest about looking at what that data really is. What is that temperament of the people? And you know, one of the things that I'm finding is the transparency in leadership is what leads and supports excellence. And that supports what you all have been talking about in so many ways, that trust, that safety, that sense of community, that sense of being imaginative and creative. So we got a redefinition going on here, and it's kind of about time. So I'm glad we're kicking that off a little bit as we go down the road together.
All right, such an important point. Wow, gross national happiness in business. We need to be having that discussion. And Adam says talks about the importance of radical honesty and transparency in leadership, which is what nourishes this. Yeah, do you want to share a little more? Such an important point. By the way, I hope you noticed his panel there too. That was Stephen Covey's son, Ken Foster, and another distinguished panelist that was there with Adam. This is one of the many panels that's part of the Global Oneness Summit this year.
Well, this was a wonderful experience to be in this group of really esteemed colleagues and people that are very much active out in the business world. And when I say business world, this is mainstream. These are mainstream people that are significant in their own right, in their own achievements. They're bringing conscious conversation to very large audiences. And Sharon Lechter was dynamite in this conversation. Stephen Covey, he has such an affinity. You just love him right in the Zoom room, so to speak. And one of the great things in this conversation, there were many things that were great conversation, but our host Ken Foster at the end of it asked the question of, what does oneness mean to you, and what is oneness in business? And the answers, I think you'll find extraordinary. So it was a great conversation. It's indicative of the kind of things we're doing this year at the Global Oneness Summit. We're birthing a new paradigm in business. We're birthing a new idea of excellence in business. And that is going to emerge through transparency. And that is going to also emerge through the happiness of our people and our community both within the company and of course elsewhere. So it was a really fun piece, and I've developed a emergent relationship with Stephen, and a lot more exciting things to come there for all of us.
Boy, so be sure to check out that panel. That sounds like just a total home run. How to accelerate trust in business. I mean, God knows, as we talk about this pivot, isn't this an essential feature? So, yeah, be sure to, when you sign up for the Global Oneness Summit, be sure to tune in to that panel. Extraordinary. Adam has, again, I mentioned there's a panel with Len Twist. There are substantial panels you don't want to miss here that Adam's right in the middle of. So, Adam, we're going to go to the next clip here now, and this is where you talk about the unitive narrative. So let's go to this clip, and then we're going to come back and talk about it.
I believe that the story that's underpinned by a unitive narrative of wholeness, of oneness, of interconnectivity is the one that offers us the way forward. And, many ecological scientists have referred to this as a period of a punctuated point in evolution, where the rate of change is happening in a very dramatic short period of time. And we've seen the previous 5 extinctions precipitated by these type of events, and that is bearing out with the data around biodiversity in particular, which 67% of our biodiversity has really been wiped out, not even in 50 years. And so I believe that the point is also symbolic of where we are in our conscious evolution, that we're also consciously really leaping and quantum leaping in a very short period of time. So I say the invitation is, why not leap? Why not leap into your own deeper sensibility of your own unitive narrative, as we were referencing in the first part of our program? And in doing so, it is an invitation for all of us to come together, to invite our generations across a multi-generational diversity that we share. I'll never forget, it wasn't so long ago here on the land in Santa Barbara where I lived, I had a gathering, a circle, and we had teenagers and 20-somethings and 30-somethings and 40-somethings and 50-somethings and 60-somethings, and we even had 80-somethings. And we all came together in the unity of that circle. And we all came together to share and activate ourselves into this deeper conversation. And I believe that's the invitation for all of us is to come and join with others. And of course, everybody's voice matters intently and immensely, and your voice matters.
All right. I love it. Leaping into the unitive narrative, each of us doing it individually and then also collectively together. Beautiful. Such an important point. And I referenced Nassim Haramein, and you might know his Resonance Science Foundation, if you haven't checked that out, or the Institute of Noetic Sciences. This is where Dean Radin is based. There are all of these science institutions around that are, when we talk about unitive narrative, oneness, unity consciousness, there's incredible science here today. So if you're on the journey and you wonder about these things, oneness, is this some new age term? Is there any validity to this? Study the science, because the science is to call it compelling would be an understatement right now. So, boy, what another fantastic panel there, where you're bringing in this leaping into the unitive narrative there, Adam.
Well, I've been really honored to be involved in the unitive narrative with Dr. Jude Curvin. On that panel, we also have Jen Hill hosting it. We have Julie Kroll. It was an extraordinary panel. And the reason why I say that is because one of the things that we're finding as we come together in the way of unity, in the way of conscious living, Steve, is that what is the language that we all speak together? Where is it that we may speak in different languages, we may speak in different, semantically speaking, linguistically speaking, but ultimately there's a unitive language, which is very much about holding the oneness of Gaia. It's about connection of heart. It's about the compassionate nature of oneness and who we are. Our dear brother Timothy Noe is doing a beautiful piece during the summit about oneness. A lot of people, what is that? I don't know, or that's some foreign idea. Well, it's innate, and it's part of who you are and I am and all of us. It's about coming into relationship with it. The unitive narrative offers us a place where we understand it's not about you or me or what you think or all these kind of things that are going on in our culture today. As we know, it's a hotbed of divisiveness. But it's also a place of holding the oneness of who we are, and the unitive narrative helps us to do that. Hope you tune into it, because it's good and it's meaningful, and it will help change your life in its own right.
Yes, it will. And Timothy Noah has been working closely with Adam and also with Ken Foster. Just in the middle of this whole reorganization of the summit, up-leveling it, bringing in award-winning entertainment, and so on. And he has his own, as you mentioned, programs that are profound. So you want to make sure to check out Timothy Noah's contribution there. He's got even as a documentary thing he's putting together. I haven't even seen it myself yet, but I know when I do see it, it's going to be real exciting, because he has a beautiful perspective.
He's going to surprise us. He's going to give us a big surprise. It's going to be good.
Absolutely. And then Dr. Jude Currivan, who was on that panel, want to single her out too. Talk about an extraordinary leader. In fact, she just, one of our newest masterclasses, the 16-module masterclasses, just came to the Humanity Stream platform in the last 2 weeks. It's called Our Conscious Revolution. So make sure to check that out. And then she has a new book that's coming November 1st. So just around the corner now. You can pre-order it from Amazon and bookstores. It's called The Story of Gaia. And if you want to go back to, she calls it the big breath, not the big bang, forward to this whole evolution of humanity and life, into where we are today, and this pivot that we're making, and the what and why and how, be sure to check out that book, The Story of Gaia. She brings this into her Conscious Revolution masterclass too. She's extraordinary. There's one person in Humanity's team, Nanette Kennedy, who is one of the people that make this program possible, who shares she's the next Barbara Marx Hubbard. So, boy, that's a big statement, and Jude is a big contributor. So, okay, well, let me get to some comments here. So Leona shared, you got to this a little bit, but maybe she wants to go a little deeper, Adam. She says, what was the catalyst for getting on a spiritual path?
Well, thank you for that. And the catalyst was, of course, the question really is, if you don't know what path you're going to get on, or you don't know where you're going, in other words, truly the unknown, generally it's a little bit of a swift kick. And that little swift kick was initially not feeling well. And that swift kick was a voice that began to speak to me that said, there's another way. There's a way for you to fully live your life. And in that inner listening, through breakdown to break through, so to speak, the kind of classic, evolutionary thrust, that transformational thrust, that spurred me to say, yes, there must be something more. And when it wasn't feeling so good, and I was not really, I would say, not the best of humans. And I share this in my book, so there's nothing really new here. But when I wasn't bringing my heart to the world, it just didn't feel good. And I ultimately had to begin that journey to reach out. And I've never looked back, as difficult as it's been. And as much as the old world can pull you during times of the journey, the new world is extraordinary, and it doesn't even compare with the old world. You can't even put them side by side. And Steve knows exactly what I'm talking about. So thank you for that. It's embracing the journey of that which is greater than ourselves. And I said yes to that.
Yeah, thank goodness. And yeah, one of the terms sometimes I use here is if you want to compare the two, is the other one was a mirage. Because even with friends in Silicon Valley, it was always, oh, when I get to this, this revenue, this house, this jet size, that then we're gonna, I'm there. And then they get there and it was like, oh, unfortunately it's moved. It's double the size house, double the size plane, double the size revenue. There was just no there. You're just struggling. And then this is what's painful is watching the relationships of people, with their spouse, with their kids, with their coworkers, as you're constantly trying to just jet up to that new higher level of living, materially. That was very painful, being in those confidential settings where friends would be talking about their lives. Yeah, that one's a mirage. Boy, I can't say there's a deliciousness over there, but you'll certainly find it here on this conscious path. So thank you for bringing that in. Now, Adam, another question is, so Deanna says, I see on your website you interview Lynn Twist, and she says, I heard you speak about Pachamama 10 years ago. How was she a guest on this year's summit? She seemed very authentic to me, and I'll just add too, as in the coming Global Oneness Summit, that panel with Lynn Twist is extraordinary, if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Well, I've had the blessing of being involved with participating, but being involved with the Global Oneness Summit. This is my second year, and obviously this year my scope and things I'm doing are quite more extensive. And being with Lynn Twist for an hour on the Global Oneness Summit this year was an extraordinary experience. We touched upon thanksgiving, gratitude, the soul of money, the committed life. Folks, she is an extraordinary light in the world. She has touched so many in her work, and she continues to do that. She has a whole new book coming out on October 18th called A Committed Life. And Lynn is an earth keeper, bar none. Not only as the founder of the Pachamama, but it's just woven into her fabric of who she is. And it was a personal connection with her. We really attuned to ourselves. She shared deeply about loss. She shared deeply about things that were really enlivening her. And the spirit of life is radically alive in her. And just being in that place for an hour, you too will experience an extraordinary regeneration of your own life experience. She'll invite you into a place that says yes to life, yes to a committed life. How can we serve that which is greater than ourselves? And Lynn is a wonderful example of that. And I'm honored to call her friend and colleague, and she is most certainly a friend of humanity's team.
Yes, she is. Oh, she is. Boy, we're talking about a pioneer, because she's been out in this world of transformational education, of conscious living, of this new path, which is what Pachamama Alliance is about. And her book, Soul of Money, her new book, she's just out there and has been. She had something called 4 Years Go a while back. It's all about what we're discussing. This whole, hey, we can all have a critical role in this movement, in this shift, in this pivot to a new way of living on the earth. It's so much more fulfilling, and that honors this beautiful earth. Where we, we're mature people. All of you viewers, mature people all over the world. We want to honor this beautiful planet, take care of it, create a sustainable and flourishing planet, not have this hand-wringing going on of, oh my gosh, Adam was bringing in the level of loss of biodiversity. It's incredible. There are these red flags going up, and we've really got to smell the coffee, and all play a role. We can't leave it to others. Thank God Adam is doing that work. Maybe we'll get there. Yeah, that's true. But, each of us, we need to say, well, what's my role? What's my station in life? What positive change am I going to come into? And where our interior is a part of that too. So that's what we call transformational education, where we become transformed, where our interior work is going on, and we really understand that we're a part of the one, and the one goes by many names. Doesn't really matter the name you want to assign, but we're a part of the one, and so we then nurture the one. There's nothing more important than nurturing life, supporting life, affirming life. That's the most important thing. So we naturally do that when we're on this conscious journey.
Yeah, yeah, we do. Hey, Steve, what can I do? I'm going to like to just mention another word on Lynn Twist and an invitation to Women's Wednesday. Lynn is kicking Women's Wednesday off with a special message on Women's Wednesday. We have a video clip from Marcela Lobos, an extraordinary clip on origins, and it's filmed in the most sacred, holy place in Peru at Lake Titicaca. And I've never seen footage like this. It's that epic and that mesmerizing. We have a great storyteller with us, Ali McCloskey, around the Great Mother, Sophia. And I personally shot this video in his studio in this hieroglyph of the soul, and he tells this story of Sophia and Kuan Yin in the birthing, in the journey from the womb into the world. And so we have a day of many things happening on Women's Wednesday. Don't miss that day. It's not just for women. It's for all of us. But it's a wonderful day that we decided to honor and put forth this way forward for women in their own right to support them in the leadership and the wisdom that we so dearly need from our women today.
Thank you so much for bringing that in, Adam. This is one of the, we talked at the beginning of the program about a new Global Oneness Summit, lifting up into new directions, bringing in whole new aspects, and this is one of them, the Women's Wednesday. So that's what we're talking about is a week from today. Wednesday, October 19th, is Women's Wednesday with these special programs. I've seen this program. I've mentioned Nanette Kennedy has been going through all of the summit and calling to my attention ones that are really special and saying, boy, this one we might want to be moving into YouTube, our YouTube channel at some point. This was one of them. I watched it the other day. And it is extraordinary, these women that then journey to Lake Titicaca, and then what happens there, the ceremony, their process. It's stunning. This is one of many programs on Women's Wednesday, October 19th. So Sarah in the window says, I just signed up for the summit based on this conversation I will share with my friends. So Sarah, hey, thank you. And be sure to catch Women's Wednesday. And everybody else here too, as Adam mentions, it's called Women's Wednesday, but the Divine Feminine, is one of the key dimensions to this whole pivot, this whole shift that we're talking about, where we're going to this new way of living on the earth. And of course, it's not any longer just divine, male is for divine masculine and female is for divine feminine, as we all know. Conscious living is we're all, we're bringing these things together. Lynn Twist has a beautiful way of describing how that that left brain, had this, and male, the old style male, had this wing just flapping hard on one side, and we just flying in circles, and what we're trying to do is let's get some strength here in the divine feminine. Let's start flying straight here. Has a beautiful way, which comes from an indigenous story of describing, this direction that we all need to go in, which we're calling conscious living here. So be sure to check that out, and the summit out. Boy, we're down to the last like 3.5 minutes here, Adam. I told you this hour would go fast. There are more comments here, but let me just give you a chance to just any shout out or invitation to people to join us for the summit, or any of the things that you're working on, Adam. And come back to your website if you would too, as you share.
Yes, well, thank you, Steve, and thank all of you for being here today. And perhaps we'll have time for a few more questions post show, if that's possible. I'd love to stay with you for a few more, and most certainly invite everybody to come on over to adamhall.solutions. Explore the work I'm doing. Share your story a bit with me. I'd love to hear from you, because your voice does matter. And we did another panel called Voices of Oneness with Alan Cohen. Alan Cohen, a beautiful man, a longtime teacher of A Course in Miracles, along with Deborah Engel, another Course in Miracles teacher. That was an experience of oneness in a 60-minute setting. And so there are many things happening, but please enjoy my work. Feel free to reach out, and look forward to connecting with you and feeling into where we're all going together, because this is a great journey, and I'm honored to be on it with each of you.
Yes, it is. It is the journey of the planet, and I mean, it isn't an overstatement to say that in the history of planet Earth, there's never been anything like this whole raising of consciousness, where we're really literally coming into this whole new way of living on the earth, and individually and collectively. And I want to share too, regarding the Global Oneness Summit, I had the privilege of hosting a few of the panels. I've got the opening panel after this beautiful prayer and after the shout out love. And it's with Nassim Harriman and Greg Braden. And they talk about this whole birthing of a new world based on their research, where they're bringing in what science is saying about agriculture and energy and health, and all of these different parts of our life that are where we've got whole new industries, whole new applications emerging based on current science. So it's extraordinary. Be sure to catch that Science of Evolution panel. It's right at the beginning here on this coming Saturday, October 15. And then later in the summit, I have a panel with Wayne Dyer's daughters, two of his youngest daughters, Serena and Sage, and also Karen Noe. And they just really astounding thing that happened that they talk about on their panel, which is, as you know, the amazing Wayne Dyer passed, back in 2015. Here we are 7 years later, and guess what? He's doing a lot of work on the planet today, which I know if you haven't been involved with our masterclass on this topic, it's mind-blowing what's happening. There's a whole book that was written through Karen Noe by Wayne Dyer, and so they talk about that, and the daughters talk about their dad just still being in their life and things that are happening. So if you're wanting to experience a lifting of the veil where you've got uncontroversial evidence, be sure to tune into that panel. You'll be pretty blown away by what is shared. So, and these are, Adam and I are just sharing snippets here. They're the whole panel. That's why it runs from the 15th of October to the 24th of October. It's packed and it's free. So how cool is that? Okay, I'm going to get to one more question. We'll go a little over. Thank you for being generous with your time here, Adam. And this is from Lana. And she says, your heart seems deeply into your spirituality. So it's another one, wanting you to go a little deeper here. She says, how does one deepen their spirituality?
Well, thank you, Lana. Lana, I think it's you said Lana.
Lana.
Deepen your spirituality. Yes. Well, I will speak to my journey to deepening my spirituality. And I found the place of emergence into the depths of who I am was coming into relationship with Mother Earth. So in the physical world, I found that the access point for me to come into the deeper inner spiritual world was through the Pachamama, coming into a relationship with nature. So I've spent an extraordinary amount of time in the Amazon rainforest. I live in a garden. I thrive in natural settings. I hear my muse and do my most deepest part of my writings because of my relationship with the natural world, with Mother Earth. So the deepening of my journey came through finding an intimate relationship with nature. And she knows, and she's the one who has long held me in terms of my journey and helping it to become safe and trusting so that I can come into a deep, intimate relationship with my own inner being, that place of my soul. And that's the journey that I have taken, and that's the journey that I'm on, and that's the work that I do. It's core and central to all the things that are unfold from me. So thank you for that, Lana. It's a powerful question, and I think you're asking the right question. And that place is an idea, but there are others, of course. To each his own, of course.
Yeah, boy, hard to go wrong when we come close to Mother Nature. Just her beauty, her love, her nurturing, the seasons. I live in Boulder, Colorado. I look out my window right now, and the colors are just astounding. The reds and yellows and greens and oranges, and oh my God, it is just absolutely stunning. Life with all of its beautiful diversity. Again, the planet Gaia that gives us so much, and now it's our opportunity to pay closer attention. And how can we individually steward the planet? We waited a long time in my family to buy an electric car. We wanted to for a long time, and these things are expensive. You don't just run out and buy an electric car. But we finally got to that place where we said, okay, let's get rid of this car, which was an old friend in many ways. I'd had it for 13 years, but time to get an electric car that's going to be friendlier to the planet. And not that we can all again run out and just do that today, and there's so many recycling and composting, and putting these solar panels on our home. There's so many things we can do. So again, and where we all find our station in life and just what we're called to, voila, it happens. This whole beautiful earth that what the Earth Keepers are about and Humanities Team is about, we manifest it together. So that's what Humanities Team is about, and this program is about. So I just want to thank everybody. There's a final shout out I'm going to read here. It's a shout out to you, Adam, and this is from Sean. I don't usually share a full name, but I will this time. Sean Donahue Anderson, who says, please give a shout out to Adam for me. I love from Quantum Genius, a person who has found a state of wellness in body, mind, and spirit and shares their wealth of peace, love, joy, and abundance with others. Adam Hall, I use this quote in one of my blogs from your website. So Sean is thanking you. So hooray. Thank you, Adam. Yeah, and Sean, thanks for walking that in here. Really, appreciation is always a wonderful thing. So on that note, I want to thank Adam Hall for coming in live from Italy. He's over across the pond here today and here for the balance of the month. And thanks for making time to come in. And then this team here, so I think we got a camera we can pull back. You can see us in the studio. There's Jim Gray, that's me on the couch there. There's Jim Gray over there. So he's the guy that made this happen, makes this production sail smoothly, where we're bringing in people live from all over the planet and playing video clips and things. So thank you, Jim. I want to thank Karen Gordon, who leads the writing team. I want to thank Nanette Kennedy, who's out on social media. She creates our newsletter, does so many things in Humanities team. Thank you, Nanette Kennedy. Andy Guski, Dee Meyer, Karen Watson, Garth Catterall. We've got a big team too. Thank you to all of my partners and colleagues that make this possible, so that Adam and I can be comfortable and just can sit here and yak, because there are other people taking care of the technology and the promotion and social media channels and all of that. So big shout out and thank you to all of you. And then last and definitely not least, to each of you, the viewers, thank you for spending part of your day here with us on Wednesday. Really appreciate it. We're not going to broadcast next Wednesday. We do every Wednesday, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 noon Eastern, but we're not next Wednesday because it's Women's Day on the Global Oneness Summit. We don't want to be yakking and drawing your attention away from that. So instead of joining us next Wednesday, just sign up for the Global Oneness Summit, and then we're all going to be, there's a huge cohort going through all over the world. We'll all be going through that together, enjoying Women's Wednesday. So join us for that next week, everybody. Okay, love and peace and blessings, and thank you to all of you for being with us today.